Well, good day, beautiful humans. It's definitely time for another live. And like typical, I'm going to do it in lingerie because I kind of love the stuff. I kind of live for it. Okay, so this particular live is going to be the continuation of the live that I did last week in regards to like face masks and all the face masks that I love. Hello, Miss Patty. I hope you're well. So last week I talked about like the different exfoliating face masks that I sell and I really love. And then today we're going to talk about all the other ones. So in today's talk, we've got basically acne masks, detox masks, hydrating firming masks, and a vitamin C mask. We got everything else. Okay. So the first thing that I want to talk about and do is the difference between what a clarifying like acneic style clay-based mask versus a charcoal-based mask. They're actually quite different. Typically, so the ones we're going to talk about is clear. This is a little sample size tube that they have, and then detox. And even though they're both clay-based, they do completely different things. And so that's why I want to talk about the difference between like a clay-based mask and a charcoal detox-based mask. So the first one I'm going to talk about is clear. This used to be the only mask that cosmetics used to make. And the big thing with this guy is it's got sulfur in it. The other thing that's so lovely is it comes in a big tube like this for $42. So it's a very cost-effective mask. I know so many of you are aware that majority of masks on the market fall around that $50 range for the ones that have therapeutic levels in them. So this one is the very first mask that ever came out. It's sulfur-based and it's particularly for more acneic skin. So there's a couple different ways to use this mask. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put clear on half my face and detox on the other half. So at the end, you can kind of see the difference. There may not be any. I've never done this before. I don't know. But I bet you the clear mask is going to be more pink and bright. And the detox side is going to just look more even and clarified and not as red. So one of my very most favorite ways to use clear mask is actually as a spot treatment. Cosmetics makes a spot treatment, but I actually don't sell it, mainly just because it's silicone based and I'm not a fan of silicone. But I feel that clear does such a phenomenal job. So what you do is, and this is how you want to use it at nighttime, okay? Or you can do it during the day, but what you want to do is you want to do all your whole entire skincare routine, like finish your whole routine. And then when you're very done, you treat it like a spot treatment. You want to get a little bit out, maybe. I don't want to get too much. So let me walk it up the tube because obviously I'm getting low, okay? And when I say spot treatment, I don't mean like this, okay? That's not a spot treatment. What happens if you do this and sleep with it is the sulfur actually may be too active and you wake up with a kind of a bright red spot. So when I say spot treatment, I really mean just the blemish. So you're going to take it and you're just literally going to, let me see if I can look in the mirror, like that. Put these on all your zits, go to sleep. When you wake up, they will be drastically less. Okay, so just so you know a little bit about the clear mask, I'm going to put this on here in a minute. It is clay-based, so it's got bentonite and colloid clay in it as the base. It also has niacinamide, so we all know, like I talk about niacinamide a lot. It helps regulate sebaceous production on your skin. If you make too little, it'll make your skin make more. If you make too much, it'll have your skin make less. It's also a tyrosinase inhibitor, evens out skin tone. There's so many beautiful things that niacinamide does. But then also this mask has, so it's basically got the clays in it. It's got niacinamide, sulfur, and salicylic acid. So it's going to help clear up breakout. It's going to help not exfoliate the skin in a way, but it kind of does because the salicylic acid is going to help with breakouts. It's going to help with blackheads, things like that. It's also loaded with botanicals. So as I was going through the ingredient list, there was over 11 botanicals in it, including neem, eggplant, passion flower, turmeric, basil, to name a few. This is a mask that I actually like using a brush on. Not all of my masks do I like using brushes, but this one I do. So how you're just going to put this one on. When you first buy this mask, it's more of a blue color. And then as it ages, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but as it ages, it turns more of this kind of gray color. But we're just going to put it on half of the face. So if you're using this as an actual face mask, I recommend that you wash your face well with more of like an exfoliating style cleanser. Use Purity Balance if you have Purity Balance to strip the skin, and then apply it on the face. And I like to let this one sit for a good 20 minutes. Like I already can feel the sulfur in it. If I remember correctly, it has, I think, 2% sulfur. It may only be 1%, but I think it's a 2% sulfur. So it's just, sulfur is like the cat's meow when it comes to drying out your blemishes. This is also a mask that you can overuse. So if you have acne, don't use this 3 times a week. Don't. It's too therapeutic. You just want to still use it like once or twice a week. I found that like when I had acne and I overused this product, thinking, you know, when you have really bad acne, you just keep telling yourself that you're going to put a product on, and then when you wipe the product off, poof, your acne's going to be gone. Never happens. But when I was using more of this more often when I had acne, it was like too much. My skin didn't like it. It ended up overstripping, started messing with my microbiome because I was just basically using, you know, it's like you can't do a chemical peel every week. And even though this isn't a chemical peel, that's kind of like what was happening too. I was basically over treating my skin. So you kind of put a thin layer on, let it dry a little bit. And then I like it to go on about this. I get it pretty close around the eyes. Okay. And you don't have to have breakout to use this mask. If you just want to use this mask to help with like congestion and just to really, it's got a cooling effect to it. Like if anybody has ever used like sea breeze, it has that sea breeze feeling to it. So if you want that feeling, if you're wanting to just deal with congestion, but if you don't have problematic skin at all and you don't have over oily skin, this may not be a mask. Like this is more a mask for normal to oily skin types, acneic skin types. Like it's not that it wouldn't give you benefit if you don't have those skin conditions, but there's so many masks to choose from. I think there's better options out there. This is more of like a treatment specific mask. Anybody who has acneic skin type will love this mask. Anybody who gets blemishes now and then just for the spot treatment alone will love this mask. Okay, so that's clear. And the highlight on it, niacinamide, sulfur, salicylic acid, loaded with botanicals. It's your sulfur clay-based mask, okay? Then we have Detox. I love this mask. It's one of my favorite cosmetics masks. And Detox is their charcoal-based mask. So it definitely still has clay in it, but then all the other supporting ingredients are more in regards to detoxing the skin, whereas the sulfur-based mask is more about clearing the skin up, okay? So with a detox mask, you also want to do your research on detox masks. Anything that has charcoal in it, a lot of skincare companies actually will use petroleum-based charcoal because it's cheaper. Cosmetics uses bamboo, but you do want to check your charcoal sourcing. Like, don't just assume it's going to be bamboo and wood just because it's charcoal. You'd be surprised. This is also a kaolin clay-based mask, but then it has diatomaceous earth and charcoal, which... So even though this is a thicker mask, and it's actually, I like to put it on with a brush, I also find myself liking to use my hands because the diatomaceous earth, which is amazing for your skin, actually works kind of like an exfoliant. So as you put it on, it actually gives you just the tiniest bit of scrub to it. Put this guy on so you can totally see the difference between these masks, okay? The other thing that this mask has in it, it has hydrolyzed Candida ceatoana. So when I started researching this ingredient, I totally geeked out. I geek out on ingredients all the time. I get so weird, super excited. So what that particular ingredient is hydrolyzed Candida ceatoana. It's actually a fungus, and it's a fungus that's created during the fermentation process. And what it does is it actually triggers the body's detoxification mechanism. So a lot of charcoal-based masks that you see on the market, the only thing they put in them to be a detox is the charcoal. It's the only thing, and then they make all their claims to fame with that one ingredient, charcoal. Well, cosmetics kind of took it to another level. They put the charcoal in there, but then they also put supporting ingredients in the formulations that also help stimulate the skin to trigger its own detoxification process, and that's one of the things. Also, diatomaceous earth does the exact same thing. It helps pull impurities out of the skin. And there was one other thing in this mask that I want to... it's got dandelion extract in it. I can't exactly remember what's so great about dandelion extract, but if I remember correctly, the dandelion extract also helps with the microbiome of your skin. So for a detox mask, this guy is pretty loaded with active ingredients. So again, it's got the colloidal clay in it, which is very detoxifying to the tissues, helps absorb excess oil, things like that, diatomaceous earth, and the charcoal with the Candida extract. The other thing I want to talk about with clay-based masks is when it comes to masks that are clay-based, even when they're dry on the skin, they should not hurt. So notice, like this guy is pretty dry, nothing is sticking to my hand, but notice how I can completely, freely move my face. I'm not crying. I'm not like, oh God, I can't move my lips. The clay mask is so tight. That's how they used to make clay masks, and they found out that they actually were damaging to tissue. So when you have a mask on your face that hardens and doesn't have any flexibility to it, that's why it literally hurts to move your tissues, because it is damaging your cells. It's creating some damage to the cutaneous layer of your skin. So anytime you buy a clay mask and you put it on and it tightens on you, take that mask back or throw it away. You do not want a clay mask at all that tightens on your skin. You'll notice with this side as it dries, it's still going to stay flexible. You should be able to wear a clay mask for a good 20, 30 minutes and still be able to move freely and never have any tight issues. When it comes to clear mask, that's a mask that after about 10 minutes, it's not really doing much. You can leave it on after 10 minutes, but you only need it for about 10. When it comes to the detox masks, I find that I like a good 20 minutes on those masks. So this mask I'd normally leave on for about 10 minutes, and this mask I would leave on for a good 20 minutes. So somebody said that the clay ingredients also to carry away impurities. So that's what it does. That's why it's detoxing to the skin. It pulls out the impurities in the skin. So that's the difference between clear and detox. Both of them are great for acneic skin. I think everyone qualifies for, there's not a single person that wouldn't benefit from a detox mask. So a detox mask is like I guess I'd like to say hydrating. I guess not everybody needs a hydrating mask, but detox masks are great for everyone. Clear is more treatment specific. The next one I want to talk about is Restore. And this is Cosmetics Hydrating Mask. Again, this is in one of their little sample tubes. So Restore is a nice thick white mask like this. This one I totally would put on with a mask brush. It's got mango seed butter, sodium hyaluronate, which, as many of you know, sodium hyaluronate is the version of hyaluronic acid that you need in skincare, so it will penetrate your tissues. The other thing that I thought was really fascinating about this mask that I wasn't aware of is it has ATP disodium in it. So I chose the shortened word. The word is actually like this long. We're not going to go there. So we're going with ATP disodium, and what ATP disodium is exactly what you're thinking, ATP and energy to the cells. So it has an ingredient that actually gives energy to your cells, which I thought was really fascinating. And then that particular ingredient also provides anti-aging protection as well as increasing hydration levels in your skin. It also has papaya fruit extract, so the papaya fruit is going to be exfoliating to the skin. So even though it's a hydrating mask, it's not an exfoliator. There are some ingredients in it because, as like when you take on a face mask, you want your skin to feel like smooth and beautiful and glowy. So that's one of the reasons they put the papaya in there, is to help improve texture. And then it also has allantoin. So allantoin was one of the very first skincare ingredients I got turned on to back in my early 20s. Murad used it a lot in their skincare, and then as I was researching their skincare, I started noticing allantoin as being a common skincare ingredient. And what allantoin does, it's a skin softener. It's part of the keratinization process, so it basically kind of like helps break up the glue of cells to help release them from the skin. And it's also very calming to the tissues. So anytime you see the ingredient allantoin, it's ALLANTOIN, that's always a beneficial skincare ingredient. It's going to mean that the whatever product that it's in is going to soften your tissues. And then also by doing that, it allows other ingredients in the formulation to be able to penetrate a little bit deeper into the skin. I think the other bonus of the allantoin is it's like, even though it's not an exfoliator, it kind of functions like an exfoliator. So you get the exfoliating benefits with like zero redness or irritation, because it's also calming to the tissues. It's not an enzyme, but it still helps exfoliate. And then again, it's also loaded with botanicals. So it's got primrose, honeysuckle, red mandarin, grapefruit, to name a few of them. So Restore is just kind of like, I want a hydrating mask. That's what Restore does. It does it. That's what it does. It's your hydrating mask, period. It's a moisture level mask. Okay, so then the next one is Bioshape. And Bioshape is one of my favorites. This is Bioshape. It's this guy. Okay. And the reason I love Bioshape, I love it for so many different reasons, but Bioshape is their firming face mask. It's also hydrating, but its main claim to fame is firming. This is the mask that's known as like their sleeping mask. It never dries on the skin. Let me move around this restore. It never dries on the skin, and it stays moist the entire time. So when I go flying, when I go on flights, it's not uncommon for me to get on the airplane with Bioshape on. It's another mask that I actually really like to massage into the skin. I don't put this on with a brush. I'm gonna put it on my hand since I have, okay. So this is Bioshape. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna massage into my hand so you can see how it goes on white. And then after a little bit of time, it's gonna look clear. So it only stays white on the skin for about 5 minutes or so. Put the rest of it down here. Okay, so Bioshape actually has 2 patented ingredients. One of them is oat kernel extract at 4%. It's trademarked in the world as Lift. And what this does, it's really unique. It actually adheres to the surface of the skin and then gives an elastic lifting. It creates like this lifting effect that is like, it's a short term. The ingredient adheres to your skin, and while it's on your skin, it's going to do a tightening and lifting effect on your skin, okay? So there's like the instant results from Bioshape. And then it has another patented ingredient in it called Ilia Lift, also at 4%. And this particular ingredient it's a peptide. So the first one, the Lift, is a extract that they took from oats and then patented it. Whereas the Ilia Lift is a peptide that they patented. They basically took a amino acid and did some things to it. They attached some things to it. And it's also in there at 4%. And what this one does is it fights against sagging, decreases the visible effects of gravity. So the Lift sits on the surface of the skin and gives an instant lifting, tightening effect. And the peptide actually penetrates into the skin and does its work long term. So it helps with the elastin and tightening and the sagging of the skin internally, not surfacey. So both of them are in there at 4%. They both have double-blind studies because they're patented ingredients. You can actually get online and see multiple blind studies. They've done extensive blind studies on the Ilia Lift where they actually have shown people saggy jowls, and then they use the product, and then you can see over time how the jowl sag actually is lifted up. When it comes to the Lift, this mask is $58. You can use it as many times a week as you want. I commonly will wash my face at night and put this on and just wear it for a couple hours and then take it off before I go to bed. I personally don't sleep in it because it does stay moist on the skin, and I'll just wake up with it wiped off on all my pillows because I move constantly when I sleep. If you're a back sleeper, it's a great idea. So I just tend to kind of wear it up front, or sometimes I'll wake up on a Saturday, I'll put it on my face, and I literally will wear it all day. And as you can see, it stays moist. So here's the mask again. So what I'll do is as I'm wearing it, like every 15 to 30 minutes, I'll actually go back in, massage this product around, rewarm it up, work it around after I wash my hands, of course. And then I'll just let it sit for another 30 minutes. But I usually leave this mask on for at least 2 hours. I love it. Again, it's my favorite mask to wear while flying because I don't get dehydrated, and because it stays moist on the skin, I know that I'm locking stuff in. Another thing I'll do with it is I'll do a thing, what I call is serum loading. And yes, these are cosmetics masks. The ones I've talked about so far are cosmetics. And serum loading is when I will like dump a whole bunch of serums into my skin, like post-chemical peel. It's also something I do before I put on particularly this face mask. Awaken in this particular face mask, I'll kind of load my skin up with serums, and then I'll put this over the top to kind of like seal it in. And I'll wear it like that as well to get an extra dose. Besides the fact that it has the 2 firming peptides, and I did want to point out the Lift, the one that gives that instant tightening effect. I found 2 products online that they also use it. So Elastin uses it in one of their serums that retails for $195. And Amala Beauty uses it in one of their serums. That's $188. And it's in Bioshape at a 4%, so high therapeutic dose. This guy's $58. And I think this guy's 2.6 ounces. So again, it's one of those therapeutic level actives that cosmetics has chosen to use, but then put a really great price point on it compared to some of the competitors. Like I would say Elastin is definitely a cosmetics competitor, and $195 is a lot for a serum when you can get it for $58. And again, this is one of those masks you can use as often as you want. It also has shea butter in it. Again, that allotonin. It also has plankton, which is, of course, very remineralizing to the tissues. Any type of algae that you find in formulation is going to be remineralizing to your skin. And then it also has lots of botanicals. So it's got rosewood, castor oil, honeysuckle. So out of the ones I talked about in this group of the cosmetics, I'd have to say that Bioshape is my first favorite, and then Detox is my second. I personally don't use Restore very often because I'm such a hoe for Bioshape. I figured if I'm going to use a hydrating mask, it might as well lift me. But Restore is more hydrating, and I'm not super, super dry. Okay, so those are all the cosmetics masks. Oh, fudge. Okay, so one of the ingredients that I forgot to talk about that's in Detox is Detox has a very specific ingredient that also has a patent on it. It's also known, it's summer lilac, which is known as the butterfly bush. And they use these summer lilac stem cells in Detox, and they also put it in their Shineless Moisturizer. So what these summer lilac stem cells do, they're quite fascinating, is it provides immediate high protection against UVA damage. So it enhances the skin's immunity. It's considered a natural barrier. It's considered a natural DNA bodyguard because it stimulates the body's own self-repair function. So it's just another reason to love Detox. I forgot how loaded, out of all the products, Detox I think actually has the most actives in it. But that's not going to give you any type of skin firming or skin hydrating. It really is just going to help reverse damage and detox the tissues. Okay, so last but not least, the other favorite mask that I sell, and I loved having this mask in when I was doing lots and lots of facials. This was one of my most favorite masks to use. It's by iSun. It's called Pearl Radiance. This guy is very reasonably priced at $48. It comes in one of those beautiful violet glass jars. It smells like flippin' neroli, which is orange blossom. Let me get on Pearl Radiance mask. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's very hippy dippy. The thing about iSun is everything is either organic and or wild crafted, which means they go out into the environment and source it sustainably and ethically. And wild crafted doesn't have spray on it, right? So the beauty of this mask is the very first ingredient is aloe vera juice. It also has pearl powder in it, which pearl powder is very anti-aging to the tissues. Asian cultures have been putting pearl powder in formulations for centuries. They've been using it a very long time. It's really good for your inner beauty and your outer beauty. And they do make sure that they are using a very sustainably harvested pearl powder in this formulation. It also has the cockadoo plum extract in it, which is the highest form of naturally occurring of vitamin C and a plant-based product on earth. It also has wild harvested Colorado honey in it, turmeric, and algae. So it's just a very clean, simple formulation. I love that it doesn't have any water in it, that it actually uses aloe vera juice as its carrier. And it smells so good. Anytime I ever put this mask on anybody, they talked about it. So again, real quick, you can see with the Bioshape, see how it just fades to nothing, but it's still there. It still sits on the tissues. This is why I love it for airplanes, because people can't see it and my skin's protected. This is a mask that I do use a brush with, and this particular mask does dry. I wouldn't say it dries hard, but it doesn't stay moist on the skin. You do have to, it dries like this. You do have to use a warm washcloth to remove it, but it's not clay-based. So this is the Pearl Radiance mask. Its big claim to fame is it's hydrating and it gives you a nice dose of vitamin C. Okay, so it's not going to do anything. There's no anti-aging benefits to it. It's not going to do anything spectacular. It's just going to give you a really nice rosy glow, and it feels good, and it smells like you're at the spa. So that's why I like that mask, because it's kind of like my spa day feel-good mask. Okay, so before I go and take my mask off, does anybody have any questions about what we went over today? If you want me to clarify anything, let me see if we got any. Okay, I don't think I have anything there. And I know some of you asked questions, and then I think I forgot to look at them. So I'm gonna have to just go and answer those on my actual page rather than doing it through the live. But I will get to your questions today. And I apologize for anybody who thought we were doing vitamin C today. I sadly tell myself tons of things in my head, but actually don't communicate those to my marketing manager. I just assume she can read my mind. So in my head, I was like, I'm doing vitamin C after Christmas, but the email I sent her said, we're doing vitamin C this week. So whoever put questions down for the vitamin C, we absolutely are covering that after Christmas, but I wanted to do the second thing of masks because I was trying to do a series of where we covered all the masks and I couldn't get them all into one video. So we are coming back to that. Thank you so much for everybody who asked questions. We will get to the vitamin C, but I had to do masks today. So somebody asked, how are Eminence masks in comparison? Okay. So Eminence. Okay. I have a little bit of an issue with Eminence. It's really hard for me when people make natural-based products and then put them in clear containers. No one makes red wine and puts it in a clear bottle. No one makes essential oil and puts them in a clear bottle. When you are working with natural formulations, even not even natural, it's just in non-natural formulations, you can put more stuff in them to help protect the formulation. But when it comes to natural stuff, you can't. The sunlight is the worst thing for products. And so it's really hard for me to promote natural lines that use clear packaging because it completely compromises the integrity of the product. The sun, like UV rays, as you all know, you see what they do to our face. So that's why, yeah, and then somebody pointed out clear plastic bottle. I didn't say it, but I just feel for the amount of money that they charge, they're expensive. They definitely shouldn't be using plastic packaging and it definitely shouldn't be clear. The other thing I think I struggle with Eminence is they made organic part of their logo, which sadly there's no laws against that. Like me as being Prakash Organics, I don't have to put a single organic ingredient in my whole line and I'm not breaking any laws. So Eminence ran with that. They've gotten much better. They use way more organic ingredients than what they used to. But it's really hard for me when you claim to be an organic line and then you use chemical sunscreen. So it's not that I don't think Eminence is a bad line. I think they have some lovely products. I love the way they smell. I love the way they feel. As an esthetician on Back Bar, I love working with the line. Do I think people should really use it in their day-to-day life? Not for that price. No, we can do much better for the price. Also, I can't tell you how many women I've seen over the years who are really into Eminence moisturizers. And they're the ones I do the most extractions on their nose and on their chin, because those butters can really build up in the tissues. That's the difference between butters and oils. Is butters are just like oils. It's just they're solid at room temperature. And so they can be very pore clogging. So should you treat yourself to Eminence? Yeah, do you. I think I just explained it all. They're kind of one of my pet peeves. I get really hung up about the packaging issue. Because I know that you have to protect your formulations and they don't. How long are the masks good for if they're wild harvested? So the beauty of iSun is everything has an expiration date. That's actually why this one's on my beauty counter, because I went and looked and the expiration date was the 21st of next month. So I pulled this off the shelf 2 months ago because I'm like, if I sell you a product, it needs to last you at least 6 months. And I was like, no one's going to go through a mask in 3 months. So iSun is listed. All the cosmetics products. So if you notice on the products, they have, if you ever see how it's a little container and then it says 12 months. This one has a little container and it says 12 months. Do all the masks say 12 months? They do. So what that means is once it's open, the product's good for 12 months. But I don't always follow that. I just check my products. If I feel like it's gone rancid, I throw it away. If it's turned, if it's done things, I throw it away. But they recommend that you use them up in that amount of time once they've been opened. But again, because cosmetics doesn't use any jars, they're all tubes, it's really hard for oxygen to get in here. Like, yes, when you open it up, this part's being exposed to oxygen, but it's not actually getting into the container, and it's the oxygen that's the biggest issue. So I would try to go by the expiration dates. Most skincare has to have it these days. This guy says 6 months. I definitely would use this a year. This is A-Lift. This is the retinol body cream they make. I would use this a year and a half after opening. Products are usually more stable than what they claim they are. Let's see. What's your opinion on Pca and Circadia? I'm starting a new job and that's what they carry. So I think Pca has some fantastic peel education. They're very similar to cosmetics in the sense that they use all chiral ingredients. So they're very results driven. which I think is a fantastic thing. But there's nothing natural about them. Like PCA is extremely petroleum and silicone heavy. When I've gone to their ingredients and I've asked their opinions on natural skincare products, they blow over it so quick. They won't even acknowledge it. They're just like, we are results driven. We focus on results. We want skincare to work. So instead of saying we don't choose to work with natural ingredients because they're more money, the petroleum and silicone is way cheaper, they just kind of waylay you and just like go straight to like, we're results driven. So if I had a choice, I would way rather work with cosmetics, but I know that's the thing so much, Alexandria, is that it's one of the reasons why I had such a hard time working for other spas, is you were always forced to use and sell the skincare that they carried. And sadly, because I was so ingredient savvy, I can't sell somebody something when I know it doesn't going to work, or if I just know there's something else out there. So it's why, luckily for me, I've been kind of able to be self-employed for, I'd say 50% of my aesthetics career. The thing that doesn't make sense with me at all with PCA is that they do this thing with their chemical peels. So what PCA does with their chemical peels is they have you put the chemical peel on, and then they want you to use up more serums. So they have all their serums on back bar, and they tell you that they want you to like layer the serums over the peel. So they're like, oh, if they want firming, put the firming serum on. Oh, if they're acneic, put the acne serum on over the top. Okay, so the thing that just did not make sense to me at all when this happened with PCA is chemical peels are formulated specifically with a pH. It's super important. And if you put a chemical peel on and then you put something over the top, you just threw off the entire pH. And if the pH isn't low enough, it's not going to drop down into the skin like you want it to. It's why Jesner is the reason why you feel Jesner so much and it's so active and goes into the skin is because its pH is like the pH is like 2.6. Okay. So the thing that doesn't make sense is why you would throw off a pH after you put the peel on. I always thought, well, it's probably they just are trying to sell more of their product. They're trying to sell their serums. It's just a way for them to sell. But from a treatment standpoint, it really didn't make sense. They have some great products, though, if you don't care about natural ingredients. Like if your clientele doesn't care about natural ingredients, they'll really like PCA. They are chiral and they are therapeutic and will make changes. I think they're owned by Shiseido now. They got bought out twice. Circadia, I've heard fantastic things about them. I personally have just never worked with them, and I'm pretty sure that they're more plant-based. So hopefully with where you're working, maybe you can focus more. That's one of the things I would do, is if there was at least one line that I could manage, that I just tended to really recommend a lot of that one particular line and not so much of the other line. So someone's asking, what about Biologique Recharge? I never said that right. Curious on your view on that. Okay. I have not particularly used that mask, the Mask Vivant. But again, these are just my opinions. Okay. Like, please don't take me to, these are just my own opinions. But Biologique is another line that I feel is really dated. Skincare needs to keep up with the times. The bonus with cosmetics is it was way ahead of its time. It was using chiral ingredients before anybody else was using chiral ingredients. It was more botanical way before it was ever cool. They never tested on animals. They were ahead of their game. And one of the things that they've done is almost all their older products have all been tweaked a little bit. All of them have had things done to them to keep them up at the times. I mean, even Mystic, they've reformulated my favorite product, Mystic. And I'm okay with it. Because of the fact they updated it because they wanted to put more trehalose in it so they could claim it as a therapeutic benefit. And the thing with cosmetics is the ingredients on the back, on the back of a cosmetics box, here's their whole ingredient list, right? So here's all the stuff that's in the formulation. But on the back, the things they highlight, they promise and guarantee that those things are at therapeutic levels, where there's studies to prove that these particular doses are going to make changes in the skin. So cosmetics highlights that for you. With Mystic, they wanted to put a therapeutic level of trehalose in it. So they're tweaking it a little bit to put more trehalose in it so they can claim the benefits. And they've had multiple products. I honestly, everything has been redone. Purity Clean is not the same from when I started. Benefit Clean is not the same from when I started. Pure Enzyme is not the same from when I started. Maybe Clear might be the only thing. But everything has changed because you got to change things with the times. As you find out that certain ingredients aren't the best option, other ingredients come out that have more relevance. You need to update your formulations. And the Biologique is a dated line that has not really updated itself. So in the 80s and 90s, it was very relevant. I just don't think they're as relevant now because they're not staying up with skincare trends and staying relevant in the industry. But again, I haven't tried that mask. Sorry. How do you feel about mainstream lines like Tata Harper, especially for the price point? No. Okay, so here's the thing when it comes to me. The whole reason I got into skincare and became an esthetician and got sucked into this world is I started studying ingredients. I'm an ingredient hoe. My whole thing was that if I put something on my skin, I want to know that it's actually doing something. Like, I don't want fluff. I don't want it to make my skin feel soft. I don't want it to make my skin feel like I don't have fine lines and wrinkles, but I actually want it to go in, fit into receptor sites, and make cellular changes. So when you do that, you are in therapeutic skincare world. And almost anything you get from the beauty counter or like places like Sephora are not going to be therapeutic level skincare. You only have to have 1/10 of 1% of something in a formulation to claim that it's in there. So that's the problem with so many of these lines, is that they'll be like, oh, this has niacinamide. Oh, this has salicylic acid. Oh, this has sodium hyaluronate. But if you don't put it in at levels that make a significant difference in your skin, there's absolutely no point. And that's what a lot of those lines do. So I do think Tata Harper is a lovely line. I think their packaging is beautiful. I think they really pay attention to their sourcing. But if I'm going to spend that much money on my skincare, it needs to do something in my skin. And there's nothing about Tata Harper that's going to change your skin. I think if you want to, same thing with Tatcha, okay? So if you want to use their cleansers and their moisturizers, totally go for it, okay? Because you don't need, therapeutic ingredients as much in your cleansers and your hydrators. Because what are you wanting a hydrator for? To hydrate you. What are you wanting a cleanser for? To get the pollution out of your pores and to clean your face. But when it comes to your serums and the things that you're putting on your skin, serums are supposed to penetrate deeper and make more cellular changes. That's the whole point of what a serum does. So if you're not using therapeutic levels, it's kind of a waste of money. So that is why I think that if you like those products, if you like the Eminence, if you like One Love Organics, if you like more of the hippy dippy products like I too, use them, but use them as your cleansers and your moisturizers if you like moisturizers, and leave the serums to more your therapeutic level products, because you actually will get your money worth. People ask me all the time, like, hey, can I cocktail these serums? Can I mix this one with that one and then use it? And lots of the times I will tell you no. And the reason why I say that is when you start cocktailing your serums, because you're putting it all in one step, and normally you'd use like 3 pumps of that serum, right? But because you're going to mix them, you're like, okay, I'll do a pump of this one and then a pump of this one and then like maybe 2 of this one. Then you've just diluted it and you're not getting therapeutic levels that you need. So I way prefer to see people put on the amount that I've recommended in layers rather than, trying to combine steps. Because if you put 6 pumps of a product in your hand, you're going to be rubbing it all over your whole body. So that's why I'm not a fan of cocktailing serums unless I've specifically told you to use it in that way, because I don't want to lower the doses. And Miss Alexandria, she's the one that asked the PCA question. I totally hear you, girl. I can't even tell you how much my heart goes out to you right now. Every job that I got after I became super savvy with skincare, I either was able to get them to bring on a line, cosmetics, that I loved, or I ended up quitting because there was so much pressure on you to do product sales, and my little spirit could not make a product recommendation when I knew that there was another product out there that would serve them better. I just couldn't. I cannot be dishonest with people. I cannot lie to people. I can't autocorrect the face when they're like, what do you think I should use? Like, you guys have seen, you ask me questions about products and I'm like, I can't fake it. So Mystic is the new Mystic. Patty wants to know if the Mystic's been launched yet. No, the new Mystic's coming out the first of the year. And I know that it's going to be mwah, because first I wept a tear. I was like, what do you mean they're messing with Mystic? But I remind myself, and my rep Alyssa reminded me too, that Mystic is Bob's most favorite product, and Bob owns cosmetics. It's not owned by shareholders. There's majority of the beauty industry, almost 95% of the beauty industry is owned by 8 companies. But Bob actually is a sole dude, like he's a sole owner of cosmetics. No one else owns it. And Mystic's his most favorite product. So I know that he will not let them do anything to Mystic that's detrimental, because it's his favorite product. So I'm actually super excited about it the reformulation on Mystic. That's the very first time I've actually said I'm so excited about a reformulation, because I'm always worried that they're going to change something that's going to break my heart. But I know with that product, it's going to be perfect. So it'll be out after the first of the year, Patty. Do you apply oils before or after moisturizers? So for me, so here's the difference. So here's the clarity, the clear side. You can see how it is a little bit more red because that sulfur is very stimulating. And then this is the detox mask side. Okay. And when I put the masks on, I had washed my face about an hour earlier, and the only thing I had on my face was face oil. And yes, I commonly will put my face oils on and things over the top. Okay, so someone asked, do you apply your oils before or after moisturizer? I like my oils on before moisturizer. I actually don't use moisturizer. I stopped using moisturizer about 2 years ago. I had a conversation with Melissa Berg, who had also stopped using, she's the beauty nurse. If you don't follow her, she's fantastic. And she had stopped using moisturizer and had said it had improved her skin, and she only used face oils. So because I made face oils, I was like, what was if I stopped using moisturizer? Because when I first started with the oils, I first, in the very beginning, would add them to my moisturizer. And then over time, I started putting the oil on first and then my moisturizer over the top. And then I finally just stopped using moisturizer altogether, and I just use face oils. And I have for about 2 years, and I'm never looking back. Cosmetics came out with their Alt A moisturizer. It's a phenomenal moisturizer. It's got amazing ingredients in it. Like, I love the whole idea of it, but I don't like moisturizers anymore. Like, I've tried it, and I have a $120 moisturizer sitting on my counter that I need to go do a photo shoot with it, but I'm probably never going to use it up. And when I'm done with my photo shoot, I'm going to give it away to a friend because I don't want it to go bad, but I just don't use moisturizers. When it comes to Prakash Organics oils, they should always go on first because they're like a serum and a face oil in one. They're extremely nutrient dense. Majority of face oils on the market, I think all of them, to be honest with you, I haven't heard of another line that only works with unrefined oils. All other face oils on the market are refined, and so a lot of those nutrients have been taken out. So what you have left is really just lipid. And so at that point, I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter if you put it on first, under the moisturizer, or over the moisturizer. I think you should just totally do you and what you like. If you're not liking that oily look, I think it's better to either mix it in with your moisturizer or put it underneath your moisturizers, because that is one of the things that, like, if you put oils on and then you put like your tinted moisturizer on or a moisturizer on, it almost instantly gets rid of that oily look if it's sitting on top of the skin. But honestly, I really do think it's kind of more personal preference. But I think they should go on before. I know, poor, my heart's so going out to you, Alexandria. She's having to switch over to a product line that she's not crazy about, and she has to use it. All right, does anybody else have any questions? I'm gonna put some Mystic on. Then this is a cosmetics product that's not even out yet. I can't wait till they launch this thing. It's actually an AHA in a spray bottle. They've had pump issues and haven't been able to fix it yet. So I know some of you have heard me talk about the HA sandwich, the skincare sandwich. This is how I put hyaluronic acid on. I put toner on, or mist, or whatever you want to call it. I put the hyaluronic acid serum that I'm using, spray, whatever it is, and then I mist again, because hyaluronic acid, as so many of you know, is a super greedy molecule. So I sandwich it in between 2 layers of water hydration, because that's what it absorbs, and I want to give it enough to absorb. I don't want it grabbing moisture from my skin and pulling it out. And this is Simply Brilliant. This is a lightener, brightener, and tyrosinase inhibitor. I always do 3 pumps. Always, always, always. And I always pull it down. And now I'm just going to put some face oil on. This is eye care. And I actually use eye care over my whole face. And my bottle's getting low. Whoa. And if you get too much oil, I always just kind of put it on the back of my hand and then work it around. But you can see with my Prakash Organics oils, they're not like super oily on the surface of the skin like some oils can be. And again, I think that's what the difference is between refined and unrefined. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate all your love and support. And I won't be having a live next week because of Christmas. But the week after that, we're going to talk about vitamin C because I'm so excited. I'm working on a body oil. I've actually struggled with creating a body oil. Patty just has the body oil. So what I'm getting ready to launch as soon as I can get my packaging for it, it's being developed right now. Packaging is so stressful, people, is my baby massage oils coming out. So the baby massage oil has been completed. But the thing with when it comes to my body oil, it's got to be the tits, okay? My body oil has to be epic. It's got to be French kiss. It's got to be the best darn body oil on the market. So that's why I haven't been able to launch it yet, because I've played around with so many different formulations. And even though some of the things I've come up are really nice, it's not it yet. And I don't want to launch it and then 3 or 4 years later, like do a relaunch of like reformulating it. So that's why it hasn't come out yet, but the baby massage oil is coming out shortly. And so is Samson in the eyelash serum container bottles that I'm coming out with, where I'm renaming it Delilah. So I will be having some new stuff coming out in hopefully the beginning of 2022. The products are done. I'm just waiting for my packaging from China, honestly, at this point before I can launch them. But that's what's going to be coming out. And then, let's see. Happy holidays to you too, love. How long do you wait after applying the oils and applying? Oh, immediately. So I put my face oil. I mean, you can see I'm still lubed up with oil. And then I go in with my sunscreen right away. So because I don't use moisturizer, I kind of treat the sunscreen as my moisturizer step. So I oil up. And again, if the oil is sitting on your face, you want to switch your formulation. Like if you put heavier on, and again, if you use 20 drops, that's a different story. But if you've used like 4 to 5 drops and heavier just isn't dropping in, you need to switch to lighter. If you've got too much, you've got too much. But if you have the right amount and the oil's not dropping into your skin, it's too much hydration and you actually want to back off on the formulation. If you put heavier in and it's kind of dry and you still feel like you're not getting enough hydration, you want to switch to eye care oil. If you're using heavier or eye care oil and it's sitting on the skin too long and not going in, you actually want to switch more to lighter oil. So here's my sunscreen. I put it on right away. I don't wait. I don't got time for that. When I developed my face oils, that was the biggest thing for me, is that I needed to be able to do my makeup right away. No one wants to put face oils on and then have to wait 10 minutes before they put their foundation on. So the whole point of the oils was that they were supposed to hydrate deeply, lighter not as much, but they were supposed to hydrate deeply without sitting on the skin at all. And out of all my oils, eye care will sit the longest. But if you're dry and dehydrated, like if you have desert skin like I do, your skin, it doesn't sit. Your skin is going to drink it up right away. So yeah, there's the sunscreen. And honestly, I would throw some cleared brow gel and some mascara on and some cream blush, and this would be my look. Sometimes I'll set it with powder. Sometimes I don't. I did just start selling this compact on my website that I'm really liking by Suntegrity. They came out with, it's just a powder, and it's an SPF 50. So I'll take this guy. It has a, like if you open this up, it has a little pad right there. Okay. But I really like brushes. So I actually will set my makeup with this SPF 50. Even though it's like an SPF powder, I just treat it like a setting powder. Sometimes I'll add this and sometimes I won't. It just depends on my mood. But you can get this on my website now. Okay. Let's see if we have any more questions. What sunscreen product do you use? Okay, so I'm a big fan of Suntegrity. I actually recently started selling it on my website. I really do love it. They make, this now comes in a white and orange tube. It's not silver anymore. They repackaged. So this is the 5-in-1 that I use. They also make one called Impeccable that is a little bit more of a matte finish and a little bit more of a fuller coverage. And I like to feel like I'm not wearing anything. So I like 5-in-1. A lot of people like Impeccable. I don't have Impeccable quite yet because they have had a sourcing issue. Zinc was one of the ingredients that became really hard to get during COVID. So they have the new packaging out in 5-in-1, but they haven't been able to launch the Impeccable yet in the new packaging. It's supposed to be coming back in stock next month. And then I'll also have the Impeccable on my website. And then I have this powder. So those are the sunscreens that I tend to use. Those are my favorite. The other ones that I use is, you can see, look at this. So Bioshape is one of my most favorite SPFs for a completely clear white SPF. You can get this at Sephora. It's an SPF 30 and it looks like this. Love, love, love this stuff. The Suntegrity stuff is tinted. And then I did just get this new Sun Butter from Skin Better Science when I went to Crafted. And I really do like this product. I really like how it looks underneath my eyes. So if I put it on underneath my eyes, this is how this looks. And I love that it's a 68. I will use this product and wear this product, but the thing with this product is it's not as clean. I'm sorry. It is considered clean. Silicone is considered a clean ingredient. I personally don't think silicone is that clean. So this is not as natural. Okay. So it does have a little bit of silicone in it. I tend to keep it more as like my specialty sunscreen, like my going out makeup kind of sunscreen product. It's not what I would use daily because of the silicone content. It is a lovely product though. For daily, it's these guys. All day, every day. And then the other one I recommend to people a lot who want more of a foundation style sunscreen is this Ilia Skin Tint. Okay, it's an SPF 40. It's like a facial serum. It has hyaluronic acid in it. It goes on really thin, which I like for being a 40, which is nice. So this is what it looks like. But when I wear this, it's like makeup. And I'm just not a huge fan of makeup. I don't like how it rubs off on the clothes and things like that. So this is what the Ilia is. It's a lovely product. It's more for people who want foundation. Hey Shanza, we're actually just jumping off, so I'm going to post it, then you can go back and rewatch it. But we were talking about face masks, all the ones I didn't talk about last week. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate all of you. You have no idea how much the support. I appreciate it. Thanks for helping me grow my business. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Light and love to you all.